Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to you on Business Today Television. This is the final half an hour of Friday, which also happens to be the first trading session of August after a terrible July. Okay, now we'll start with the Nifty as usual. The index is at its day's low, down 165, and what is preventing it from going lower is the 100-day moving average. And that's what is there as far as the index is concerned. The day's high, ladies and gentlemen, was 24,784, all the way down to 605. So that's a traveling distance of about 180 points. Let's pay attention to the Nifty Bank, down 252 for you, and that's trading about 56,097 was the day's high. So that's an easy 300 point, 400 point loss on the Nifty Bank as well. What are the stocks within the Nifty that are pulling the index down? Well, there are no surprises really. It's Infosys, down 2.4%, pulling the Nifty down by 36 points. Sun Pharma, terrible earnings. Stock itself has lost 4.6% and has pulled the Nifty down by 24 points. Bharti Airtel, ICICI Bank, L&T, 17, 16 and 13 points respectively. So it's a painful last half an hour. The selling is just accelerating. In a moment you will see 24,600 disappear. That's about 152 down, and at this point of hour it's the lowest that we can think of. The market is completely defensive. Look at the winners on the Nifty today: Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Asian Paints, Kotak Bank, stocks that have done nothing for last 5 years, many of them. So that's how the state of play is, ladies and gentlemen. Terrible first quarter, ongoing issues with the US on the tariff issue, and look at the sustained foreign fund selling that's happening. Yesterday the number was 5,588 crores on a net basis. In fact, all of July there have barely been 4 days out of 22 trading sessions that you saw FIIs invest on a net basis positively. In July, 47,666 crores was taken out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was one of the primary reasons why the Nifty fell about 3% last month. So far, year to date, 1,70,000 crores have been taken out by our foreign friends on a net basis, and in 2024 this number was 3,02,000 crore rupees. So about more than half has been taken out so far in 2025 compared with what it was in 2024. So a lot of painful things are happening, and against this backdrop of an increased tariff war in which the US has imposed sanctions on Indian mercantile exports, the Indian rupee is also in pain. What you see is at the moment 87.46, it's likely to slip further, but there is pain all around. In the beginning of July, in fact on 17th July, the rupee was at 85.86, and then it fell very sharply over the last fortnight all the way down to 87.79. So it's been a terrible time for Indian equities. See, I was just saying that 24,600 will go, and it has. That's the status, ladies and gentlemen. Heavy sales coming in across the board. If you look at the advanced decline ratio, that's also pointing to bears controlling sentiment. Only 650 shares are in the green compared with 1800 that are in the red. So it's a very easy 1:3. For every one share that is up, there are 3 that are down. We tracked 19 indices for you. 18 are in the red, and today's losses are led by the pharma index, down 3.2%. That's primarily because of a disastrous set of numbers that Sun Pharma came up with. I'll give you Sun Pharma results in a moment. Just allow me a bit of time, and you will also see the stock price performance. I'll request the PCI to kindly fire a longer term chart of Sun Pharma. Net profit flat, 2,293 crores. Sales up marginally, 9% at 13,851. The stock actually saw its heaviest selling pressure in the morning and slipped as much as, how should I say, 1608. 1608 was last seen, ladies and gentlemen, on 6th of March. So it hit what, 8 minus 3, 5 month low, and that's what it is in front of you. Very, very strong volumes coming in. We have about 75 lakh shares that have been traded on Sun Pharma alone in this post earnings sell off. Apart from that, let's look at volume. What you see in front of you is a strong, the selling pressure is really accelerating. Now almost 24,580 is gone. So when we started this conversation, the Nifty was at 24,630. Now it's at 580. So we've lost 50 points in a span of just 5-7 minutes, and this is getting to be a bit on the harsher side as far as the selling pressure is concerned. Let's look at the most active counters. PNB Housing, unbelievable amount of pain. Just look at the stock, 2,500 crores has been traded and the stock is down 18%. Why? Because the MD has resigned. 606 in front of you. You have NetWeb Technologies, the second most active traded counter. Very strong set of earnings, both profit for the first quarter and revenue for April, June surged 100% year on year, and you have about 2,100 crores worth of shares being traded. Suzlon up 7%, good numbers, 66 rupees, and then you have Sun Pharma, 1,200 crores traded. Reliance, bit in the green, 1,200 crores traded. M&M, strong earnings, 1,000 crores traded. So selling pressure is there, of course, but there isn't much of selling pressure on index heavyweights. Yes, you have a nice deep shade of red, but that's how it is. Let's focus on where money is coming in. Radico Khaitan, strong set of earnings, 3.5% higher, record high. Schneider, record high. JK Cement, record high, 67.27. So that's how it is at the moment as far as prices are concerned. What we'll do is, ladies and gentlemen, we'll speak to Gaurav Sharma, Associate VP and Head of Research at Globe Capital. Namaste Gaurav ji, a very warm welcome. How are clients reacting to this sell-off? Now 200 points, 24,550.
Namaskar, good afternoon, Shailendra. Thanks for having me on the show today. 200 points as we speak. Market has dived the moment you started speaking, and by that time the Nifty had slid over 50 points.
Yes.
It is just 9 minutes past 3 and the breakdown levels have just come in. I kept waiting whole day for this particular moment that the Nifty should slide below 24,600 mark, and there is the breakdown level. But this is not the time when we should initiate fresh shorts, because averages will take the price point higher. But the kind of sell-off that we are seeing, I don't really think that this is stopping anywhere. I was having a view that below 24,600 market will rush towards 24,200 odd levels. These are the cash levels that I am talking about. 50 points, 60 points have gone in a very, very quick succession. That is nowhere what I was seeing it to happen like that. As far as clients are concerned, yes, they are worried, but we are just making our best to actually, to do something good for them, keep track of the markets, and what all best we can do as of now.
So 24,591 is the 100-day exponential moving average. We are below that. A close below the 100-day moving average is very, very painful. Let's see how it goes, but that's what it is. And at this point of time, the Nifty is testing the lows made on Friday, June 13th. So that's an easy close to 2 month low, 6 week low as far as prices are concerned. Please keep that in mind. And the selling pressure is now well in its fifth week in a row. We had seen a high of 25,669 in the late part of June, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was the high point of a 4 month rally, March, April, May, June, and from then on we've lost about 1100 points, 1200 points to be precise. And it's quite painful. Numbers haven't been what they are. This issue with the US is a problematic point, and of course, heavy selling pressure from our foreign friends. Gauravji, to your understanding, anything in first quarter earnings that you may have liked?
Cement,
Cement, okay.
pretty much surprising. Generally, what we see that this particular monsoon time is not too great for the cement shares, but they have completely outshined. Whatsoever numbers are still not yet declared, I do expect them to come up with positive surprises. They may not be that well reflected in terms of their stock price movements just because of the overall market condition. But I think we just need to look at it from a broader perspective. If things go on ticking in on a time when they are less likely to do so, I think this is a brighter spot which one can actually look at. Another point that needs to be kept in mind is cement is one sector that is completely India driven, completely make in India, completely sold in India, completely for India and Indian growth. So I think this is one space that can actually surprise, that has surprised in this term, this quarter, and I expect the same momentum to continue in the later half as well.
Okay, I think that's a very astute observation. Remember, most research houses are now focusing on domestic oriented sectors, mainly because exports are in pain because of this tariff issue. And of course, the fact that now government will take steps to boost domestic consumption so that domestic GDP is boosted, that might offset the half a percentage point or 0.3% decline in GDP that is expected because of this tariff war that is happening with the US. With that in mind, let's look at index futures. There is selling in the European markets as well. French markets are trading 1.2% lower. The German index is down 1.7%. How about US futures? Half a percentage, no, about 1 percentage point down on Dow, S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. So it's not as that we are alone, but the selling on our part is a bit exaggerated as always. Now you have 24,543. I'm hoping against hope that 24,500 holds, because that will be the closing week number, and of course it will be the starting value of the Nifty for August as well. What have been major disappointments for you, Gauravji, as far as Q1 is concerned?
I think some of the points were there that the private sector banks did not perform on expected lines, barring ICICI Bank that came up with stellar set of numbers this time around. Others like the Kotaks, Axis, even the HDFC Bank did not came up with that kind of a bright set of numbers to provide much needed support to the markets. IT was pretty much expected also, so nothing on a surprise on that front. FMCG, yes, one thing that pricing pressures were there, but they even could not hold in terms of sales figures to impress the street.
Okay. So, bright spot being ICICI Bank, otherwise the private sector banking space was a disappointment. Gaurav ji, now it's almost 3:15, so the last 15 minutes of trade will be upon us. I'm sure people will not sell further, push further sales, which gives us a ballpark 24,550, 24,600 as the closing range of the Nifty. The last half an hour prices are then put through a weighted average. Now, what do you have in mind as far as next week is concerned? What are you looking at in terms of events, and what do you think will influence the markets in whatever way they move?
Firstly, Shailendra, in the past 2 days since this tariff was announced, the Indian rupee has depreciated almost 90 paisa here. This scenario, if it continues, and the way dollar index is rising, which clearly is a red flag here, and if the rupee continues to depreciate against dollar, I think the sell-off would continue. What we are seeing is a red all across the globe here. So the sentiments are largely dented, and I see more pain coming in. 24,450 immediately, and then 24,200, as I've already mentioned earlier in the show. I am expecting this level to be tested in the by the next week itself. So I think not much is left as we speak. It is 540. What we are expecting is another 340 points cut here. So I think it can be there in the first two sessions only.
Okay, fair point. And of course, these are sharp sell-offs that are happening. If you look at the daily chart of the Nifty, uh, apart from yesterday's knee-jerk reaction, which was because of the FNO expiry, as also the fact that July drew to a close. So it was 31st of the month, it was the FNO expiry. Both of them put together resulted in a lot of short covering and NAV rebalancing. Therefore, you had this uptick. But in the last week alone, we've seen the index move from 25,235 to 24,540. So that's 200 plus almost 460. 600 points, 650 points have been lost in this week. So that's very painful, and many stocks in the Nifty have lost 10, 12, 15% in the month of July for two reasons. Very aggressive profit booking, dismal first quarter, and of course the smart ones knew that this trade deal is not happening, and therefore they booked out what they thought was a good occasion. Gaurav, in mid caps, does Globe Capital have some advice to ultra HNIs? Are you buying into some pain in this space? How about small caps? Anything that looks good?
Canara Bank looks pretty much impressive to us. We continue to have a positive outlook on this stock. It came up with good set of numbers. Therefore, any further decline from these levels can be considered as a fresh buying opportunity for those who have not invested as yet. For those who are already invested in this stock, they have made to me they have made a wise choice, and any further decline can be utilized to average. Another space that we like is the NBFC space. Shriram Finance being our good choice. Again, good set of numbers. Uh, we expect the later half to be better than the first half. Therefore, again, we do have a buy rating on this stock. So investors can consider that space as well. Apart from this, some of the other stocks like smaller IT companies, especially those who deal with the BFSI space, are pretty much attractive. and they can also be considered for a 6 months kind of a perspective, or maybe for a longer term perspective as well. TCS, for that matter, among the larger space, is at a very, very, very attractive levels now. And these are the levels that we generally talk about buying good quality stocks on a corrected price. Yes, this particular stock is at a corrected price now. One should start accumulating the stock from around these levels. It is around 3,000. It was not far off that the stock was trading somewhat around at 4,500. So a 1,500 points cut on TCS, and it is available at 3,000 price points. I think these are good levels if someone wants to take a position with a perspective of 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay, fair point. 320, and I need to point out selling pressure coupled with strong volumes in the FNO space. We've discussed PNB housing, 18% lower, and the volume is 20 times the 5-day average. 3.22 crore shares have been traded only because the MD has resigned. Sun Pharma down 4.5%, numbers that the market did not appreciate at all. About 82 lakh shares have been traded, more than that, 4.5 times 5-day average. Heavy selling pressure in IIFL Finance Limited, 10% lower, and substantial volumes, 4 times 5-day average. You see Coal India in pain, you see Trent moving up sharply, 3.5% higher, 5188 on substantial volumes, almost 20 lakh shares as we speak, and 2.5 times 5-day average. Green tick on TVS Motors, Dabur as well, strong volumes here too. So these are interesting stocks in FNO that are moving. Is there an all-time high? Yes. Fortis Healthcare and auto ancillary company Bosch, both of them on fresh record territory. And are there any circuits as far as NSE 500 is concerned? It's unlikely, but as they say, unless you try, there's nothing that comes. Okay, you have SML Isuzu 5% higher circuit. You have no stopping on Orchid Pharma, 5% higher, 777. These are the only names that I would like to take on air. The rest of these stocks I'd rather avoid mentioning on air. Okay, so that's the state of play, ladies and gentlemen. A final look at the advanced decline number. It's 512 stocks versus almost 2,000 that are in the red. So 1:4. When we started the show, it was 1:3. So selling accelerates, and of course, apart from the FMCG index, ITC, Hindustan Unilever, Godrej, Dabur, Nestle in the green. Gauravji, any favorites that you have in sectors which nobody tracks, which is FMCG?
First of all, we do track that sector, and I think this will soon be in the list of lot of others as well. I was just going through the earnings updates of some of the FMCG stocks that have announced their numbers so far. Most of them have suggested that the dip or the non-performance was the outcome of higher input costs. Largely, FMCG have an input cost of fruits, vegetables, and palm oils, means eatables. I'm talking about as of now. I expect with the ongoing good monsoon, these prices should come down in the later half. Plus, palm oil prices are also likely to settle down soon. Therefore, that will provide the much needed cushion to the FMCG companies going forward. And in the later half of the year, maybe in the second and the third quarter, a reflection is most likely to be seen. Stocks like Dabur, stocks like Nestle, Britannia will be directly benefited from this dip in prices. Apart from this, the 8th pay commission, which is likely to be announced and be effective in the early months of 2026, will also have a positive impact as they leave behind a reasonable chunk and a larger share in the hands of the end users. And I think Hindustan Unilever stocks like these could probably be a beneficiary of that. Apart from that, two-wheeler makers and small car maker like Maruti is also likely to benefit from the same.
5 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start wrapping up. 24,565 on the Nifty, 200 points lower on the first day of the month, 350 points lower on the Bank Nifty, 671 points lower on the IT index. Remember, IT got crushed in the month of July when the index itself lost 11%, and it started uh, August on a very, very sad note. Let me just see the low that we are hitting on the CNX IT. Okay, the last time you saw this, it was 23rd of April. And somewhere in early part of July, the IT index was at 39,500 and now at 34,600. So it's 3,900 points lower, ladies and gentlemen, in the blink of an eye. Remember, some of the finest Indian companies, corporates, boardrooms are in this index. Companies that have lakhs and lakhs of employees, companies that have thousands and thousands of crores of free cash flows, and companies that are multi-baggers. Yet, this is the state of play because of artificial intelligence, because of bad first quarter, because of lack of guidance, because of underperformance. So, the markets are climbing walls of worries, ladies and gentlemen. When earnings slow, heavy selling comes, and that's what FIIs have shown, smarter than us. 45,000 crores has been taken out on a net basis in the month of July alone. Gaurav ji, would you have any expectations from second quarter earnings?
Yes, as I've already pointed out, I expect PSU banks, namely State Bank of India, Canada, PNB, to continue their performance. I expect a U-turn coming in from the FMCG space. I expect the NBFC space, especially the housing finance space, to continue their outperformance from the later half itself due to the transmission delay will be completely mitigated and the end user will start getting the benefits of the same. So these are some areas where we see buying coming in the later half of the year.
Okay, fair point. Uh, any mid cap specific stock in the banking sector apart from Canara Bank that you like?
We are preferring just about SBI, Canara, Bank Baroda, and to the extent of Bank India. Bank India can be considered for that matter, but again, I would say Canara is our favorite pick from this space, and again, it is a mid cap only, so that can be considered. Apart from this, we do like City Union Bank and Karur Vysya banking from the private banking space. Much less talked about stocks, but their performance has been phenomenal, and the same has been reflected in their stock prices as well. I continue to uphold a bullish outlook on these shares, and they are most likely to continue their growth path ahead as well.
Okay, fair point. Before we let you go, Gaurav, one view on Bank Nifty.
Well, absolutely, Bank Nifty, although today, among the better performing sector indices, down by just about 0.3% against nearly zero point 0.8 or 1% cut in the broader Nifty index. So performing well, yet a breakdown is not there, but still the things do not look that much optimistic. 55,000 and 55,000 is pretty much on cards. I think that is the downside level for the next week.
Okay. With that, Gaurav, thank you so much for joining us. It was good to hear your understanding of the markets and, of course, the bullish call on
Recording in
Canara Bank
progress.
in particular. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the state of play of the market today, 24,570. this number will also improve a bit, because what we do is take the weighted average of the last half an hour of trade. So, you just might say 54, 24, 5, 80, 81 in the last 2 or 3 minutes when the market readjusts. But a bad start to August, and down 200 points on the Nifty, down 700 points on the Nifty IT index, down 2%. The pain is not easing at all, and the Nifty Bank down 325 rupees, 325 points, 55,636. There's pain all around. There's no point telling you stock prices that have fallen further. I'll just say that the advanced decline ratio is terrible. 560 stocks in the green, 1900 in the red. We haven't had a decent index show an uptick unless you think Nifty FMCG merits attention, which it does. Money going totally into defensives. People who've not seen these stocks for the last 5 years or so are now buying into Lever, Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Nestle, Godrej Consumer, Dabur, Marico, just as a way to, you know, park money in terms of safety. Pain all around. So, finally, we've had a horrible end when there is no deal between the US and India, and the United States has imposed a 25% tariff plus undisclosed penalties on Indian merchandise exports. That's reflected in the market today. Widespread selling, widespread short sales, and of course, smart profit booking as well. For the next 2 days, markets, analysts, equity strategists and fund managers will look at the domestic part of the Indian economy to find out winners, because exports are unlikely to do well. We are looking for a weaker rupee, a more circumspect trade, a flat second quarter after a disastrous first quarter, and maybe some bottom fishing at all. We will discuss good quality funds next week. Stay tuned.
Not all numbers are born for the balance sheet. Some are born to bring a smile. Some usher the future. Some make you stand tall. Some numbers light a fire and fulfill wishes. Some spoil you silly. Some echo joyful shrieks. Some numbers have smiles written all over them. Some make the planet happy. Some make the planet healthy. Some numbers rise against all odds. Some are made for dreams. Not all numbers are born for the balance sheet. As we spread our wings globally, we at Mahindra believe that the numbers we are most proud of are the number of lives we have touched. Mahindra, together we rise.
Caught in the crossfire, a convoy of UN vehicles approaches a crowd of starving Palestinians near the Kerem Shalom crossing in Gaza.